This one's for grade 8. It's number 11 in your multiple choice package. So this has to do with rate of change and initial value. So this is a good question for your exam, and I know that we've just been doing this recently. So your rate of change is your A, and your B would be your initial value. In this case, they're talking about it as a base price. So it's something that you start out with from the beginning. Okay, so it says when Louis spends the day at the Lac Maury conservation area, he rented a sailboard. The table of values below corresponds to the cost of the rental. So time, we know, is in hours, is our X, and cost in dollars is our Y. So the cost depends on the time. Okay, so we're lucky enough to see that the X is going up by 1, so that's perfect. So it's showing us the change per hour. So for 1 hour, it costs them $15. For 2, it costs $20. For 3, it costs $25. So to figure out our rate of change, so we're going to figure out A first. A is the change in Y divided by change in X. And this is exactly the same thing. You can do your Y2 minus Y1 formula if you want to. It's exactly the same thing. Because really, when you do, like if you use this as your Y2 and Y1, when you subtract them, this is going to give you 5. So these are changing by 5. Okay, and these ones, the X's, we're lucky, are changing by 1. So every hour, you are getting charged another $5. Okay, so the hourly rate here, A, is $5. Okay, to figure out what the base price is, we're supposed to go backwards in our table. So what you can do if you don't feel comfortable with going backwards, like what I'm saying for that is that we were going up by 1. If you go minus 1 to where X is equal to 0, okay, so I'll write them on the side here. If I went down by 1, this would be 0. If I do 15 minus 5, again, to go down by 1, my Y would be 10. Okay, so your base price or your initial value, your B, is always whatever X is, whatever Y is when X is equal to 0. So you went backwards to 0, here is 0 hours here. If you subtract by 5 on the bottom, you already have an initial value. So that means the base price, your B, is equal to 10. If you're not sure about doing this in your table, your other option would be to plug into your formula that says Y equals AX plus B. You could also choose one of your values to plug into there. So what I mean is that this is an X and Y coordinate. So what you can do is where it says Y, you put 15. Where it says A, you put your answer that you just found, which was 5. Where it says X, you put the coordinate that matches with that, so that was 1, plus B. So now you're just solving this equation to figure out what B is. It's like a variable that's by itself. So 15 equals 5 times 1 is 5, plus B. And then if you just bring your 5 to the other side and subtract 5, you get 10 equals B. And it's exactly the same thing that we got when we went backwards in the table. Okay, so those are your two options for figuring out your B. But for A, it was just the rate of change. So you're looking at what Y is increasing by and dividing it by what X is increasing by. So in this case, it says the base price is $5. And oh no, sorry, these are not right. The base price was $10. And the hourly rate, the one that's changing with the amount of hours, is the $5. So your answer is D.